Yes, sir. Fine, guys. We shall continue. So break-even point can also be calculated in a graphical way. However, I already explained by drawing a chart or graph. So what is that? Break-even chart. The break-even chart means a chart which shows profit or loss at various levels of activity. That is, at various levels, that if I am selling 100 units, what is the profit? If I am selling 200 units, what is the profit or loss? It will be shown in this chart. The level at which there is neither a profit nor loss is shown being termed as break-even point. It is a graphical relationship between cost, volume, and profit. It shows not only the break-even point but also the effects of cost and profits at varying levels of sales. The break-even chart can therefore be more appropriately called the cost, volume, profit graph. That is, what will be the cost, profit at various level of volume. Volume is nothing but quantity. Clear? So you guys can take down the break-even chart here, and I have also given various assumptions. But before that, in whatever space I have left there, where is that chart? Yeah, here. So please take down this chart. Not so important from exam point of view, as they will not ask you to draw any chart, but it will be easy for you to understand from this chart what exactly is break-even point, what is margin of safety, when do we make profit, when do we make loss. So please take down this chart in whatever space is left, guys. If you have any doubt also, you can ask me. BEP means break-even point, MOS means margin of safety. FC stands for fixed cost. Also mark the loss area and profit area, guys. However, I have marked here. So before break-even point, it will be loss. After that, we will start making profit. Yeah, done. Chalo, we'll continue. There are various assumptions also under break-even point. Like actually whatever we use to calculate break-even point, we assume all those things will remain constant. Not so important. You guys can just go through this once. See this chart part, that is break-even chart graphical representation, not so important from exam point of view, guys. So but calculations, whatever formula and all we discussed, that is algebraic or mathematical method, it is important. Clear? So you guys can just go through these assumptions once, easy assumptions. Yeah, come to the problems now. We will do some problems on whatever we have discussed till now. Interesting questions. Come to the end of this chapter. Please open your notebook. Give the heading, that is name of the chapter. Give the name of the chapter. We'll start with the first question. Yeah, sure, we'll start. From the following figures, ascertain break-even sales and margin of safety. Okay, let us do it. So sales, fixed cost and variable cost is given. Only three information. They have asked us to calculate break-even sales and margin of safety. Okay, so first of all, to calculate whatever they have asked in the question, you assume or just recollect what you want. So to calculate break-even sales, I require fixed cost given in the question. Next, PV ratio. In this question, we cannot calculate contribution per unit because no information with respect to units are given. So we cannot calculate. So we require PV ratio in the denominator, which is not given. Shushma sir, page number at the end of the chapter, madam. Yeah, anyway, we'll continue. So PV ratio is not given. So we have to find out PV ratio. To find out PV ratio, we require contribution because PV ratio is equal to contribution by sales. Okay, so then coming to margin of safety. Margin of safety is very simple. Total sales minus break-even sales. So once I calculate break-even sales, my margin of safety will become easy. Chalo, we shall do it. So we will just prepare this table to find out contribution. So sales is given in the question, which is 20 lakh. Then fixed variable cost is given 12 lakh. So my contribution is 8 lakh. Without even doing this table, I can directly do, because 20 minus 12, I will easily get contribution 12 lakh. 12 lakh by 20 lakh will be my PV ratio. But here I am doing the presentation so that at least everyone will get it what I am doing. Next, Fixed cost is also given 5 lakh. So what will be my profit? 3 lakh. Actually, for this question, there is no requirement to calculate profit, but still I am doing it. Okay, now coming to break-even sales. What formula will I use? I will use fixed cost by PV ratio. Sir, why? Because contribution per unit I cannot calculate in this question. No unit information is given. Okay, so before calculating this, I have to calculate something called as PV ratio, which I require. What is the formula for PV ratio? Contribution by sales into 100, which is equal to, contribution is 8 lakh. You can also simplify it as 8 and take it 8 lakh divided by 20 lakh. So you can also do 8 by 20. You will get same answer into 100. So 8 lakh into 20, sorry, divided by 20 lakh into 100. So 8 by 20 into 100, 40%. So 40% is my PV ratio. 40% is my PV ratio. You can also write it in decimal, nothing wrong, 0.4. Next, fixed cost by sales is my break-even sales. Fixed cost is 5 lakh rupees divided by PV ratio is 40%. So 5 lakh divided by 40%, which is equal to 12 lakh 50,000. If you take PV ratio in decimals also, you will get the same answer, guys. That is 5 lakh divided by 0.4 it will be. So my break-even sales is 12 lakh 50,000. So what is margin of safety? Total sales minus break-even sales, which is 7 lakh 50,000. 7 lakh 50,000. Balashridhar, sales and sales value are same, right? Yes, madam. Sales, revenue or sales value, everything is one and the same. If it is in units, they will specifically mention it is in units. So how to calculate margin of safety? Total sales minus break-even sales. My total sales is 20 lakh and break-even sales is 12 lakh 50,000. So how much is my answer? 7 lakh 50,000. 7 lakh 50,000. Please take down. I have presented each and everything here. I will also tell you guys, sir, can I calculate this directly? Yes, you can get this answer straight away in calculator only. How is that? I will tell you, which can save your time. Balashridhar. So we can also use 1 minus variable cost by sales value formula. Yes. PV ratio, I told no, whatever formula we have discussed there. Well, when we were discussing the PV ratio concept, you can use any formula. You will get same concept. So that same answer you will be getting it. Yeah. Chalo guys. Now let me tell, sir, I took around 3 to 4 minutes to solve this problem by writing everything. Can we do this in calculator directly? Yes, simple. See, just by looking in the question itself, I can tell my contribution is 8 lakh. Agree, na? 20 minus 12. Okay, sir. So how much is my PV ratio? 8 by 20. So I will get 40% or 0.4. So I know what is my fixed cost. It is 5 lakh. So 5 lakh divided by 40%. Straight away I will get 12 lakh 50,000. So this is my break-even sales. So break-even sales, if I deduct it from total sales, I will get margin of safety. How much? 7 lakh 50. Aram se you can get this answer just by working out in calculator, just in like 30 to 40 seconds, guys. Yeah, but only when you guys are expert with the concept. Agree? If you don't know the concept, then you may spend some time to recall the formula. What should I do with this? How will I calculate PV ratio? So you may spend some time to recall those things. Agree? Yes. Chalo. But when I am solving any question in the class, I would be doing it step by step so that each and everyone will understand how I am getting the answer. If you guys are well versed with whatever we are doing, you can straight away get the answers also. Yeah. Now, fine. Guys, calculate what is the amount of profit and tell me quickly. what is the amount of profit and give me the answer. I have already calculated here, but still assume you guys can give the same answer. Let me only do and tell you. See, profit can also be calculated using the formula, that is profit is equal to margin of safety into PV ratio. We discussed this. Why? Because after break even point, whatever sales we make, only variable cost will be there. So my contribution will be equal to profit. So how much is my margin of safety? 7,50,000. What is my PV ratio? 40%. So how much is my profit? It will be 3 lakh. You can check. 3 lakh is my profit. So you can just cross check that here. See, same figure we have got. Actually, they have not asked you to calculate profit. I am just showing it by cross calculating. So that if by chance, if they ask, you should be knowing how to calculate. Clear? Yes, sir. Chalo. We'll go to the second one. One second. Yeah. Let us start with the second question. Guys, if you have any doubt, please do ask us. Please do ask me. Varun, sir, explain that formula again, sir. Which one, sir? This profit formula. Yes, sir. See, MOS means what? Additional sales. That is the sales in addition to or over and above our break-even sales. Okay. So what is my additional sales? 7,50,000. Once I have reached my break-even point, how much additional sales I have made? 7,50,000. And from this 7,50,000, I will be earning the profit. And we have learned in the concept that in this 7,50,000, whatever additional sales I am making, I won't be incurring any fixed cost. Why? Because all the fixed cost I have already recovered by making a sales of 12,50,000. So to make this additional sales of 7,50,000, I would be incurring only variable cost. And how much is my variable cost? 60% I can tell. As PV ratio is 40%, variable cost is 60%. Na? Yes. So from this 7,60,000, if I just remove 60%, what will I get? Contribution. And that contribution is equal to my profit, because for making this 7,50,000 sales, my fixed cost is 0. So whatever contribution I will get will be equal to profit. So I'm just straight away taking margin of safety, which is nothing but additional sales, into PV ratio. Actually, by doing this, I will get contribution, not profit. But that contribution is only equal to my profit. Okay, and that 3 lakh is my contribution. That is only for 7,50,000 sales, not for the total sales. Agree? For making additional sales of 7,50,000, what is the contribution I have earned? 3 lakh rupees. And that is actually equal to my profit, because my fixed cost to make this additional sales is 0. Clear? Understood, sir. Okay. Chalo. Yeah, next question, guys. A Limited discloses the following information. The sales of the company are rupees 200 per unit. That is, selling price per unit is 200. 20 lakh rupees. Okay. Sales is 20 lakh rupees, guys. If I want to calculate units sold, I can do it. 20 lakh divided by 200, you will get how many units are sold. Okay. Variable cost is 12 lakh. Fixed cost is 6 lakh. The capacity of the factory is 15,000 units. Sir, what is this capacity? It means maximum they can produce 15,000 units in the factory with their production capacity. Determine BEP, that is break-even point, and how much profit the company is making. How much profit the company is making. See, in this question, they have actually asked only break-even point. They have not mentioned whether it is in rupees or whether it is in quantity, that is in units. So we shall do both, because with the given information in the question, we can calculate both. Clear? Yes. Sir, in exam, what should I do? You see how the options are given. Whether the options are given in rupees or in units. Accordingly, you calculate, guys. Clear? Yes, sir. Because for this question, actually, we can calculate both. That is, break-even point in units also I can calculate. Break-even sales in rupees also I can calculate. Whereas, in the last problem, I was able to calculate break-even sales only in rupees. only in rupees. So there was no option to calculate in units. Fine. Let us do this. First, let me prepare a table, my basic table. So sales is 20 lakh. Okay. Variable cost is 12 lakh. Then contribution 8 lakh. Fixed cost is 6 lakh. Two lakh is my profit. 2 lakh is my profit. That means company has already reached their break-even point and they have gone much above the break-even point. Agree? Now I want to know what is the break-even point, which will be obviously less than 20 lakh, guys. Which will obviously be less than 20 lakh, because by making 20 lakh sales, the company has already earned 2 lakh profit. So that means my break-even sales will be less than 20 lakh. Okay. And we have already answered the second part. What is the profit the company is making? We have already given the answer, 2 lakh rupees. Okay. Chalo. Break-even sales we will calculate in first rupees. So we want PV ratio, which is directly not given. So first we shall calculate PV ratio. So PV ratio is equal to contribution by sales into 100, which is equal to contribution is 8 lakh. So 8 lakh divided by 20 lakh. You can also do simple calculation, that is 8 by 20 also. 8 lakh divided by 20 lakh into 100. So it is how much? Same, I guess, na? 8 by 20, 40%. 40%. Okay. Now coming to break-even sales. So break-even sales I am calculating in rupees, guys. So fixed cost is 6 lakh divided by PV ratio is 40%. So how much is that? 15 lakh. 15 lakh. Please take down. This is my answer. I will also show how we can calculate break-even point in units. There are two ways of calculating it. Actually, three ways. I will show it. Yeah, fine, guys. Next, we'll see how to calculate break-even sales in units. So let me write it here. Break-even sales in units is equal to break-even sales in rupees, that is 15 lakh, divided by selling price per unit. Selling price per unit, which is equal to 15 lakh divided by selling price is 200 rupees per unit. It is given in the question only. So 15 lakh divided by 200 rupees. So it is equal to 7,500 units. So that means company has to sell 7,500 units at 200 rupees to reach their break-even point. To reach their break-even point. You guys can take down this also. You should be knowing how to calculate break-even units. Vikas, sir, can you show that tabular column? I will come to that, sir. You can take down whatever I am showing now. I will show another way of calculating this. Yeah, there is another way of calculating it. How is that, sir? Or first we will calculate contribution per unit. How to calculate contribution per unit? Simple. Take the selling price, multiply that with PV ratio 40%, because PV ratio is nothing but contribution, na? So contribution per unit is equal to selling price into PV ratio. So 200 into 40%, you will get 80 rupees. So this is contribution per unit. Okay. Now use that formula. Break-even sales, break-even point or sales in units is equal to fixed cost by contribution per unit, which is equal to 6 lakh rupees by 80 rupees. Rupees 80. Check whether you are getting the same answer, 7,500 units. You have to get same. This is another way of calculating break-even sales in units. This is an alternative way. In exam, you need not do it in both the ways. I'm just showing. Whichever you feel is easy, you can follow it. Shushma. Yeah, you can take that formula, that is fixed cost divided by selling price per unit minus variable cost per unit. That is nothing but contribution per unit. Nah? I have straight away taken contribution per unit in the denominator. And whatever formula you are told is selling price in units, variable cost in units. It should be selling price per unit, variable cost per unit. Hope you guys are done. And we can calculate this 80 rupees in another way. In another alternative way, I will just tell it. See, here you can calculate how many units are sold. 20 lakh is my sales. If you divide sales by selling price per unit, 200, you will get 10,000 units are sold. Agree na? I repeat. If you divide total sales value by selling price per unit, you will get to know how many units are sold. Okay. And you have total contribution. Divide total contribution by number of units sold. That is 8 lakh by 10,000 units. You will get contribution per unit. Because whatever contribution I have got here is total contribution. You have got 8 lakh contribution by selling how many units? 10,000 units. So if I divide 8 lakh by 10,000, you will get contribution per unit. Contribution per unit. Same 80 rupees you will get. All this I am just telling you guys because in the exam, whichever you immediately get or recall in the exam, you can follow that straight away. And whichever you feel easy, you can straight away follow that. Yes, sir. Fine. We'll go to the next question. Sales are 1,50,000, producing a profit of 4,000 in period 1. Okay, this is the data for period 1. Next, sales are 1,90,000, producing a profit of 12,000 in period 2. Determine the break-even point. Come on. So we have to compute break-even point. To compute break-even point, first I require PV ratio. In this question, we cannot calculate contribution per unit. So first we have to calculate PV ratio. What is the formula? Alternate formula. The last formula which we discussed, we have to use it here. That is change in profit divided by change in sales. Into 100 also we can use it to get it in percentage. So change in profit is 12,000 is the profit in the second period minus 4,000 divided by what is the sales in second period? 1,90,000 minus 1,50,000. So in the numerator I have calculated change in profit and in denominator change in sales. So it will be 8,000 divided by 40,000. 8 divided by 40. So how much is that? Into 100. Is it 20%? 20%. Okay, let me write the answer. 20%. 20%. Next, I actually require fixed cost. Have they given it in the question? No, sir. They have not given fixed cost. Can I compute? Yes, sir. Take any one period. Period 1 or period 2, whichever you want. So let me take period 2. Okay. And do the working. So for period 2, what is your contribution? Simple. My sales is 1,90,000 into 20% if I do, I will get contribution. Sales is 1,90,000 into 20% is my PV ratio. If I do, I will get what is my contribution. So it is 18,000, I guess, now. Sorry, 38,000. Yeah. 38,000. Profit, I don't know. Let us keep it like that only. But I know contribution minus fixed cost is equal to profit. And profit is given in the question. In the second period, what is the profit? 12,000. What is the profit in the second period? 12,000. So that means my fixed cost would be balancing figure, which is 26,000. Hope you guys understood. 38 minus 12 will be my fixed cost. Sir, repeat the contribution calculation. Sir, contribution is nothing but sales minus variable cost. So my PV ratio is 20%. So can I calculate contribution directly? Yes. Sales into my PV ratio is my contribution. And I am doing this calculation for period 2. For period 2, the sales is 1,90,000 into PV ratio. If I do, I will get 38,000 contribution. From that, if I reduce fixed cost, I will get profit. But fixed cost is not given in the question. So I have to do reverse calculation. So profit is given as 12,000 for period 2. If I reduce 38,000 minus 12,000, I would get what is my fixed cost, which is like my balancing figure. Clear, Srivas? And here, sir, how much is variable cost? Straight away I can tell 80%. I have told you PV ratio is nothing but sales minus variable cost. So if my PV ratio is 20%, variable cost will be, or variable ratio would be 80%. Balancing figure, full form of B bar F is balancing figure. B bar F stands for balancing figure. Sir, why did you take period 2? Why didn't you take period 1, you may ask me. If I take period 1 also, same fixed cost I will get. Because we know fixed cost will not change. So for example, hope you guys are done with this. Are you guys done with this? I will show by doing it for period 1 also. Hello. Come on guys, show some energy. Only some of them are answering you. Yeah, done sir. Okay, let me erase this and do it for period 1. Let us check whether you will get same fixed cost. Because fixed cost will not change from period to period. Okay, let me take period 1 now. You need not take it. I'm just doing it for your understanding. If you have taken already period 2 calculation, more than enough. Contribution. So what is the sales for period 1? 1,50,000 into PV ratio 20%, which is equal to 30,000. Okay. Fixed cost is not given, but profit for period 1 is given. How much? 4,000. So that means my fixed cost is my balancing figure, which is 26,000. Agree na? So normally, until and unless given in the question, PV ratio, fixed cost and all will remain same, guys. Yeah, that is for period 1, period 2, both fixed cost and PV ratio will always remain constant. If there is any change, they will specifically give in the question. If not, always it remains same. Clear? Yes, sir. Chalo. Now we will calculate the break-even sales. Fixed cost is how much? 26,000. Divided by my PV ratio is 20%. So my break-even sales in rupees is how much? 5,200. 1,30,000. Jennifer, please cross-check your answer, madam. 1,30,000. Simple calculation actually. As I'm explaining and doing it, it is taking time, guys. And I'm also showing you other alternate ways of doing the calculations. Priya, fixed cost is equal to sales into PV ratio minus profit. Yeah. Because sales into PV ratio, you will get contribution. Contribution minus profit. Contribution minus profit will be my fixed cost. I'm just doing some reverse calculation. That's all. If you know that equation, all these calculations you can manage, guys. Sir, what is that equation? Simple. Sales minus variable cost is my contribution. Contribution minus fixed cost is my profit. Sometimes we interchangeably use this equation to find out the other. Clear, madam? Priya? Here we have straight away found out contribution. Contribution is nothing but straight away we have taken sales into PV ratio. You will get it. Yes. You can also do sales minus variable cost is equal to contribution. In that case, variable cost would be 80%. 80% of my sales. But I have just skipped that step. That's all. Chalo. So they have asked only this much, na? Determine break-even point. Yeah, that's all. Chalo. Fourth question. Fourth question. Pay attention. Here I have asked 2-3 things. Let us do it. So it is approximately 4 requirements. In first question, there is 2 requirement. So totally there is 4 requirements which we have to do in this problem. Chalo. A product is sold at a price of 120 per unit. Okay. So this is the selling price per unit, guys. 120 is selling price per unit. Okay. And variable cost is 80 per unit. So this is per unit. Now, can I ask you, sir, what is contribution per unit? Come on, guys. How much is contribution per unit? Quickly. Come on, come on, come on. How much is contribution per unit? Come on, quick. How much time you need? Just like that, you can tell. 120 minus 80. That is sales minus variable cost. Agree, both is given per unit. I can tell contribution per unit is 40. Okay. Let us proceed. The fixed expenses of the business are 8,000 per year. Find one by one. Break-even point in rupees and units. Both they have asked. Can we do? Yes, sir. We can do it. Chalo. We'll start with. So, A. Point A. First, let us calculate whatever is required. Contribution per unit, which is equal to selling price per unit, which is 120, minus variable cost per unit. You can take the equation. I will repeat. Contribution per unit is equal to selling price per unit minus variable cost per unit, which is equal to 40. Sir, can I calculate PV ratio? Yes, you can calculate that also. How is that? PV ratio is equal to contribution by sales into 100. And here both contribution and sales both are given in per unit. We can do it. So contribution per unit is 40. Sales per unit is 120. 120, 40 into 100. So 40 divided by 120 into 100, you will get 33.33. 33.33. You can also take this as 1 by 3. You can also take this as 1 by 3. Is it mandatory, sir? No. I'm just taking it because so that answer I will get the exact figure. Okay, let me continue. First, I will calculate break-even sales. You can calculate any one thing. Break-even sales in rupees I will calculate. Okay, which is equal to fixed cost by PV ratio. Fixed cost is 8,000 given in the question divided by PV ratio 33.33%, or else you can take 1 by 3 also. You can take 1 by 3 also. So 8,000 divided by 33.33%. It is 24,000, guys. 24,000. You can take it by 1 by 3 also. So in that case, it will be like this. Please observe here. If you take PV ratio as 1 by 3, the calculation will be like this. 8,000 divided by 1 into 3 it will be. 8,000 divided by 1 into 3. In that case, you will get exact answer. Then in rupees, if you just divide 24,000 divided by selling price, you will get in units. But here I am using the formula. Break-even sales in units. In units is nothing but fixed cost divided by contribution per unit, which is equal to 8,000 divided by contribution per unit. I have calculated 40. So 8,000 divided by 40, it is 200 units. 200 units. You can also get this by dividing 24,000, whatever break-even sales in rupees we have got, divided by selling price. You can easily get the break-even sales in units. Please take down this. This is the first requirement of the question. In this question itself, there is totally 4 calculations, guys. It is like 4 different questions for you in the exams. Yeah. Now, sir, what is the meaning of this? What is break-even sales in rupees 24,000? That means the company has to make a sales of 24,000 rupees to recover all their cost. And any sales after 24,000 will give profit for the company. Will give profit for the company, which is called margin of safety. Okay. Coming to units. Company has to sell 200 units at 120 rupees per unit to recover all their cost. That is what the meaning of 200 units. Agree? If companies sell more than 200 units, they will start making profit. They will start making profit. So any sales after 200 units is called margin of safety. Is called margin of safety. Assume the sales of the company is 300 units. So in that case, how much is margin of safety? 100 units, which will give profit for the company. Okay, so chalo. Next, coming to second one, profit made when sales are 240 units. They're asking what is the amount of profit the company will make if the sales are 240 units. If they are selling 240 units, how much profit the company are making? Logically, if you think company is making profit, na? Yes. Why? Because sales is more than 200. So for that 40 units, obviously company will be making profit. So in a simple way, I can calculate like this. Contribution is this much. How is that? 240 units I am selling. And for each unit, I know contribution is 40 rupees, which I have already computed. So 240 units into contribution, you will get total contribution. And fixed cost is 8,000. So it is 1,600. How much profit the company is making? 1,600 if they are selling 240 units. 240 units. This is the simple way of calculating. I will also show you the other way, alternative way. Yeah, this is B. Yeah, I will show you the other way. Profit is equal to margin of safety into PV ratio. Agree, this is one of the formula. How much is margin of safety? 40 units. Because my break-even sales is 200 units. So 40 units is my margin of safety. And what is the selling price of each unit? 120. Okay, this will be my margin of safety in rupees. If you multiply this with PV ratio, 1 by 3 or 33.33, you have to get that much. So 40 units into 120. So margin of safety, 40 into 120, 4,800 divided by 40 into 120 divided by 3. So it will be 1,600 rupees. 1,600. This is my profit. This is my profit. Nishchay Jain. Yes, sir. You can do that also. Because my contribution is equal to profit. Here I have calculated what is my margin of safety sales. I have multiplied that with PV ratio. Done? Hope you guys are done. Last requirement. Sales to be made to earn a net profit of 5,000. So they are telling how much sales I should make to earn a profit of 5,000. So what is this 5,000? It is nothing but desired profit. So we have to calculate how much sales the company has to make to earn 5,000 rupees profit. So and 5,000 is nothing but desired profit. Okay, let us do it. C. Requirement C. So required sales, that means how much sales I have to make, is equal to fixed cost plus desired profit divided by PV ratio. Fixed cost we know 8,000 plus company wants to make 5,000 profit which will give, what is the total of numerator? Nothing but total contribution. Agree, 8 plus 5 is nothing but contribution, divided by PV ratio, which is 33.33, or else you can also take 1 by 3. So 13,000 divided by 33.33 percentage, it is 39,000 approximately. 39,000. So company has to make a sales of 39,000 rupees to earn 5,000 profit. It is like that. So if the company want to earn 5,000 profit, they have to make the sales of 39,000 rupees. You can also calculate in units. If you just divide 39,000 by 120, you will get in units. Yeah, Upendra. Sir, will the answer be same if we take PV ratio as 33.33? Yes, it will be same. That is what actually I have taken here, na? 33.33. See, why sometimes I use 1 by 3 instead of 33.33 is, if I take 33.33, some decimal difference we will get. For example, if you observe, you will not get exact 39,000 in your calc. You will get 39,000 some change, 2 rupees, 3 rupees more. Agree? That is because of decimal difference. That is because of decimal difference. Okay. If you are asking with respect to this profit, same formula, if you use instead of 1 by 3, 33.33 percentage, you can check 40 into 120 into 33.33 percentage, you will get 1,599 point something. So that some decimal difference will be there. Agree? So you can round it up to 1,600. You will get the same answer. Answer is same only. Here and there some decimal difference you will get. Because 33.33 is not the exact percentage. It will be 33.33333333. Agree? So that is, we normally round it up to 2 decimals. So if I want to get exact answer, I can, instead of taking 33.33, I can do it 1 by 3. Clear? And sir, here also can I use 1 by 3? Yes. Instead of, I'm just showing it, guys. Hope you guys are done. So can I do 1 by 3? Yes, sir. So 13,000 divided by 1 into 3, if you do, you will get same 39,000. Exact answer you will get. So the calculation will be like this. 13,000 is the numerator, divided by 1 into 3. It will be into 3. Okay. Nishchay Jain. Sir, how to calculate in units? Simple, sir. Divide 39,000 by selling price per unit. So for example, required sales, if by chance, if it is asked in the question, required sales in units is equal to 39,000 is rupees sales divided by selling price per unit. 120, I guess, na? It is 120. Yeah. You will get it in units. 325 units. Alternatively, you can also use the formula. Just take down this. I will show alternative way also. That is, this formula you can use, but denominator will be fixed cost per unit. Sorry, contribution per unit. So fixed cost is 8,000. Desired profit is 5,000. Divided by contribution per unit is 40. Divided by contribution per unit is 40. You will get 325 here also. Required sales in units is 325 units. You can do any one. You can do any one or. So in this question we have done, including this required sales in units and all, we have done like 4 or 5 calculations. Agree? So it is like a 4 or 5 different questions for you in the exams. So in the same question, I have actually covered 4 or 5 calculations. Fine. Guys, everything clear? Any doubt till here? So we'll stop it here. So if you guys have any doubt with respect to whatever we have done today, you can ask me before we close. Yeah, fine. So please go through whatever is discussed in the class today. So all those things are important, because when you know the concepts, even formula will become easy for you and even calculations becomes easy. Clear, guys? So bye for today. We'll meet you tomorrow, and tomorrow we'll continue with whatever is left in this marginal costing topic. Chalo. Bye. Good night for now.